and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another pen for review, and as you can see here, it's an ASC or Armando Simone Club pen. So this pen is on loan from John at stjohnspens.com. I'd like to thank John for the loan of this pen for the review. This pen will be going back to John, so I won't be keeping it or adding it to my collection. I know some of you might be disappointed in that, but I have to be a little bit selective on the pens that I pick up nowadays. So as you can see, this is an ASC pen, so I think let's unbox and remove the lid. You'll see that there is another box inside, and I'll just put the box, the outer box, to one side. It comes in this sort of clamshell type magnetic box, and if I open the box up, you'll see a brochure here, and it gives you details about Armando Simone Club, and you also get the pen floating in this body. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove that box and also take the pen out of the levitating box, and I'll show you the pen in all its glory. So this is probably one of the most beautiful, more recent ASC Bolognas that I've seen. I think I like the Nefertiti, but this one is the Egyptian series Ramesses the Second, limited edition of 88 pens worldwide, and it's just looking on their website now. They do claim that this is an in-house made celluloid, not a cellulose acetate of brown and gold that they developed over the past 3 years. Several layers were used to deepen and enhance the color of the material that creates a unique pattern. Now, I do wonder though if this is actually not celluloid but cellulose acetate, because celluloid is actually illegal to make in most Western countries around the world. I think there are only a few countries that didn't sign up for that agreement because it's very highly combustible material. So I think China was one of those very few countries that didn't sign up to it. So I'd be surprised if this was celluloid, but we'll do a sniff of the cap and see in a moment. But I think the beauty of this pen is it reminds me very much to a point of the Arco Brown celluloid material. It really is quite captivating. The cap finial there comes to a conical point. The cap has a roller style Italian clip here. The cap tapers into that conical point, tapers out to essentially what is the cap band there, and you can see a whole load of Egyptian hieroglyphs there, which is nice to see. There is a slight step down here from the cap to the body, and then it tapers down to this metal ring, and then you'll see this pneumatic filling knob here, which has a lot of threads, and if I pull it out, you'll see there are Egyptian hieroglyphs on it because this is the Egyptian series. The idea is you have a pneumatic filling hole here, or air hole, so you put the pen into ink, or the nib into ink, you put your finger over the hole, you push down, that creates a suction, you let your finger off, and the sac inside inflates, and inflates with ink because it sucks the ink up. So this is a rubber or latex sac inside this pen, but this pen material is really quite stunning. Look at the brightness of this material, really gorgeous. So I have to say this is a beautiful material. Really am in awe with this. I've not seen anything quite as beautiful since the Arco Brown material, which was really made celluloid made in the 1930s. Now, if I take the cap off, you'll see a number 8 size 14 karat gold nib. Now these only come in one nib width, it's a medium. You'll see here that there is a slight step up to the threads here, and then you have the hieroglyphs again on this band, you can see. And then there's a slight step up to the body, but you will find that the section is a little bit on the short side. There is a bit of a step up to these threads, so you do feel it if you are resting your middle finger underneath it more, I would say. So if you've got a tripod grip, you're probably not going to notice it as much, but if you rest your finger underneath that, then you might actually notice it a little bit more. You can post a cap on this one, where a lot of the ASC Bolognas you cannot. It does just fit over, but it will wobble. It's not designed really to be posted. But this is a really long pen anyway, so I wouldn't worry about that really, because it is quite long. But this material is quite gorgeous. So I think with that, let's do a size check, we'll do a weight check, we'll do a pen comparison, and then we'll do a writing sample. So the full length of the pen, we're looking about 158 millimeters in length. Length of the cap, we're looking about 72 millimeters in length. We'll check the length of the body here from the tip of the nib or tip of the tines. We're looking about 146, about 145, yeah, about 145 millimeters, I would say, in length. A little bit shorter than maybe a few of the other Bolognas I've seen more recently, but it's actually a fairly decent size, as you can see in my hand. Only maybe 1 or 2 millimeters difference. I think let's do a weight check. Now this is uninked, but we'll check out the full weight of that pen. We're looking at around about 52 grams in weight. The weight of the cap, we're looking at just over 11 grams in weight. That is a really light cap. And the weight of the body, we're looking at just over 41 grams in weight. Now, I've seen other ASCs around about 43. Again, it's only a couple of grams difference, but not a huge amount, but they do vary slightly. Now, I just smelt the cap, and I don't smell the sweet camphor smell. So I do think that this might actually be cellulose acetate, even though their website on penfamily.com says it is celluloid. But I'm not smelling that sweet camphor smell on that celluloid. But I may be wrong. It may just be sometimes the pens don't give off a huge amount of smell, depending on how they were turned and how they were cured. I think with that, let's now do a comparison with other pens. So from left to right, we have a Cross Peerless 125. And this is in the platinum, a Cross Peerless 125 in titanium, a Cross Peerless 125 in the blue quartz, an Esterbrook SE Oversize, and this is in the Gold Rush Prospector. We have a Armando Simoni Club Bologna Extra Egyptian Series. This is Ramesses II. We have our Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero Grande in the sand. We have our Leonardo Momento Zero in the Mediterraneo. We have another Armando Simoni Club Bologna Extra Wild. We have a Wild Eversharp Deco Band Oversize. And we have another Armando Simoni Club Bologna Extra. And this is in the black and gold Lucians. So I think let's do a writing sample. So this is the ASC. And it is the Bologna. And it is the Extra. And it is the Egyptian series, and it's Ramesses II. And it, I just want to double check. It says on the website it's a medium flex nib, but I would say this is more like an extra fine nib. Look at the width of that nib. It is very, very fine. So I'm gonna say it's an extra fine nib, even though the website says it's a medium nib. It's also a 14 karat gold nib. They don't actually put the nib width on there because they're all normally mediums, but I think this nib's been ground down a little bit more. So I'll put 14 karat gold nib. Now the ink in here is diamine ochre, which I really do like, and I think it complements the colour of the pen there. Now, in terms of line variation, I'd say that it's putting down an extra fine to a fine. I'm not going to push this too hard because I don't want to swing that nib, but you're not going to get a huge amount of line variation. I'd almost say that it's an extra fine and you can push it to a fine. Now, in terms of the vertical lines, you're not seeing any hard starts or skips. So from that perspective, it's a nicely tuned nib. I am finding this does have a lot of pencil feedback on it though. That's probably because it's really been ground to an extra fine nib. Now, in terms of the ink swatch, you can still see that these Magic Flex nibs are normally super wet nibs. So you can see there that really that is still a fire hose of a nib, even though it's an extra fine nib. What do I like? What do I not like about the pen? I like it's a Magic Flex nib. I do like the size and the weight. What do I dislike? I'm not a fan of these pneumatic fillers. I know sacks were in a lot of vintage pens, but I have had some experiences where sacks have dried up and cracked, and I've had to replace sacks after about a year. They should typically last around 5 to 10 years before needing to be changed, but that's just something to bear in mind. Sometimes the quality of the rubber or latex sacks is a bit of a lottery sometimes on some pens. But this is a pen that I do like. I love the material, whether or not it's celluloid or cellulose acetate. This material really is quite nice. So I'd like to thank John from stjohnspens.com for the loan of this pen for review. If you want to check out this pen and other pens, check them out at stjohnspens.com. Also check him out at St John's Pens on Instagram. John also goes to most of the UK and European pen shows now, and has started going to the American pen shows. So if you want to check out some of these pens, or you want to buy a pen from John, check to see if he's coming to a pen show near you anytime soon. And if he is, message him. He might be able to bring some of these pens if he still has them in stock, and you can check them out and then maybe buy them. Or you can buy them direct from his website or message him on Instagram. So there you have it. That's my review of the Armando Simoni Club Bologna Extra Egyptian Series Ramesses II in an extra fine 14 karat gold nib. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.